All right, fantastic. We're going to go ahead and get started. For anyone just joining, I had mentioned that we are launching a poll right now. If you can go ahead and answer that, it would be greatly appreciated. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, the Smartsheet User Group program really aims to amplify our users' voices and provide them with a space to connect, learn, and exchange fresh perspectives with the broader Smartsheet community. We now offer sessions both virtually and in person, and often offer multiple groups in a single month. After today's session, if you're interested in learning more about the program or maybe curious about some of the different cities that we're going to be visiting in the next few months, you can email us at usergroups@smartsheet.com. We'll also put our email and our page in the chat momentarily for you all to take a look at. And on the theme of events, I did want to let everyone know that our annual customer conference, Engage, is confirmed for September 19th through the 21st in Seattle, Washington. Registration is now open with early bird pricing through July 7th, so be sure to get your ticket. This year will be an immersive and interactive experience packed with actionable sessions, real-time solutioning, and some really thought-provoking speakers, including our wonderful customers. So be sure to register if you're able to attend. I'll also put the link for that page and the registration page in the chat momentarily as well. And to kick things off, we're going to start with some introductions. My name is Kelsey Hayden, and I'm on the product marketing team here at Smartsheet, helping to lead our user group program, and I'll be the host for today's session. And we're extremely excited to be joined today by John Sorensen, Director of Capital at WOW Carwash. John is going to share how their team is leveraging Smartsheet within their growing organization, so more to come on that. And then we're also joined by our platinum partner, Sevan Multi-Site Solutions. Sevan actually worked with John and the WOW team, and will share how they have empowered users at WOW to implement and deploy the Smartsheet solution that you're going to see today, along with really helping them to develop their development timeline. So exciting to hear from them. And from Sevan, we're joined by Bob Gafney, VP of Technology and Data Analytics, and Bob Pohlman, Operations Director. And before we dive in and hand it over to John and the Sevan team, we do have a few housekeeping items that we want to run through, and I'll also continue to run those polls that you see if you're just joining, so we appreciate it if you can take the time to answer those. Just to quickly go through today's agenda, as I mentioned, in just a few minutes, we will hear from John, who will discuss how the team at WOW is using Smartsheet for their development, surveying, zoning, and construction management services to help expedite their car wash development process. After John's presentation, we will open it up to questions from the audience. I do want to call out that everyone will be muted throughout the session, but you can feel free to utilize the Q&A and chat buttons on the Zoom bar, and we'll cover those in just a moment as well if you have questions. We will also have the chance to hear from Sevan Multi-Site Solutions, who again partnered with John and the WOW team to implement and launch the solution that they'll be reviewing today. And then finally, just to wrap things up, we will take a few minutes to review some of the resources and programs that you all have access to on the call today. And as we go through John and the Sevan's team's presentations, I will continue to put helpful links in the chat to some of the pages so you can be directed right to those. And we will also follow up with a number of resources post-session today as well. So speaking of questions, as mentioned earlier, we do have time allotted today for Q&A. So please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A and chat fields as John is presenting, and we will get to them live during the session or follow up with a written response to post group. I also want to encourage you all to utilize the chat to jump in, maybe say hello, let us know where you're coming from, what organization you work for. It's always great to kind of see the diverse group that we have attending these groups. I did want to note as well that we are recording the session, so if you need to hop off early or maybe you had colleagues who couldn't attend today, we will email out the recording to anyone who had registered after the group, so you'll have access to that. And it will also be posted on our external page, which I had put in the chat. So you can now go in and filter maybe based on content or industry if you quickly want to navigate to this session or others that we host. Now, just like you all, the Smartsheet team also has questions. Our team loves running these sessions, and we couldn't do it without your engagement and support. But a lot of the feedback that we gather does come from polls that we run during these user groups. So we just ask that you please consider participating in those, answering them when you see them come up on the screen. It's a great way for us to, again, plan and launch future groups for you, content, but it's also a great way for us to follow up if you do have questions. Now, before we get started, one thing I did want to call out, John and the WOW team do have access to some of our premium capabilities that you see here on the screen. They will be covering one of those Control Center today and also talking a little bit about work apps and their plans for that eventually. So if you're unfamiliar with these items, just know they are premium options that Smartsheet has, and we'll cover those in more detail and also get some of those helpful links in the chat for you all if you have questions. All right. With that, I am done. John, I would like to hand it over to you to share more about how you are using Smartsheet at WOW Carwash.
Sure, thank you. So, hi, my name is John Sorensen. I've been in the car wash space for about 24 years. I was lucky enough to come on board with WOW about 3.5 years ago. And I have been with them helping grow their footprint in the Vegas market. Just a little bit about WOW Car Wash. You know, one of the main differences between WOW and most other car wash chains is our culture, and that's one of the reasons why I went to go work for WOW. Is they invest a lot into people. They love their team members, and it's one of the main reasons why WOW is a hugely successful growing chain. We have designed a premium drive-through car wash experience exclusively for you, and it's one of those things where they value excellence. They are continue to strive for excellence, and it's one of the reasons why WOW is one of the most profitable car wash chains in the United States. They value technology. They want to build car washes that wash your car very, very quickly, get you out, and have a premium experience. I'm very, very proud to be part of the organization. So one of the reasons why WOW brought me on board is they were their first 4 years of coming out of the gates, they were building 1 to 1.5 sites a year. And I was probably the first person they brought on to help them grow the footprint. And during the first portion of my time there, we were trying to figure out how we could go to scale. And scale was right when I first got there, we were dealing with mostly architects and contractors, and a lot of stuff was being missed. There's a lot of stuff falling through the cracks. We were missing dates, and it didn't impact us as much when you're building 1 or 2 sites, but as you're going to scale, those misses can really start to hinder the development process. So what we did is we ended up partnering with Sevan multi-site solutions, and we were looking for a tool that we could track dates and deliverables and even a financial piece that was in one place. And we had no idea what that looked like. There were several other different platforms out there that did that, but Sevan brought us Smartsheets, and it kind of changed the whole dynamic on how we did our development. They brought organization. We use Smartsheets on a weekly basis, and all of our meetings where we have our contractors, our electricians, our car wash guys, all of our trades, our entire team. Just everyone that has to do with the development. And what we say a lot is it's one source of truth inside of our organization, and it's one spot. And it is an amazing tool. It helps us even run our meetings, because we can go through all the deliverables, and it keeps everyone accountable and keeps everything on track. And then we know very, very quickly if something is off track or if we missed something, because the information is in there. And one of the things that WOW really appreciates about Smartsheets is our ability to change things or add things immediately on the fly. If one municipality comes out and we something hits us that we didn't even see or we never heard before, we're able to capture that information and get it on our entire platform so that doesn't get missed again. And that's probably one of the strengths is how easy that information is captured. And then once it's in there, we won't miss it again. And so all of these tools inside of Smartsheets, and just we keep running around that, is the storage of all your documents is on the same platform. So not only do you have all your sites in the solution, it has all the deliverables for each individual site in the solution. It also has all your documents. So as plans get done, or your permits, or whatever you may be looking for each individual site, it's all in Smartsheets. And so you're not having to look around, or you're not having to look at other platforms. It's an amazing tool for us, because not only can we get to the information, the contractors have the information. You're not calling around everyone and say, hey, I need these drawings today. It's already in the platform. So they can just click on the site, click on the doc, it pops right up. And so it alleviates some of that work from our team. And so to me, we went from doing 1.5 sites a year to our first year using this platform. We're now putting 6 into the ground this year, and we're looking to do 8 to 12 the following year, and another 8 to 12 the following year after that. And the amount of information is needed to build 5 to 8 locations in a single year is a massive undertaking. And this tool allows us to do that very cleanly with our teams. And our vendors like Sevan, they help us go through the platform. They build the platform. It's completely customizable for us and our needs. And to be honest, is we looked at other platforms, and this particular Smartsheets, because of its ease of use for us and our team, and for the flexibility and the customization of the tool, it has changed our business overall and made us more efficient. Yeah, we still have misses, but it's not usually based off the tool. It's based off of our team having misses. So it's unbelievable. And then one of the things that we didn't even realize is, all the car wash folks, we are looking to have some form of an exit at some point. And as Bob and I were going through the platform, we realized that when we go and we look at acquisitions, for instance, and we wanted to go buy another chain, or if we wanted to go buy a site, there are no documents to be found when we go somewhere else. And we can't even get as-builds or anything. So when WOW wants to exit in 3 to 5 years, all those documents are already there, and they're already stored in the Smartsheets. So if someone comes to us and wants to purchase our platform, it's an amazing document that we have all that. We have everything for each one of our sites already stored. And that also makes us more valuable to the people coming in and possibly exiting. So that's I didn't even realize that when we started talking about the tool. It's something we learned probably in the last year or so through the process. So next slide.
Thank you, John. That's great. And I think it's really important to reiterate some of those comments, but just real quick, I'll introduce myself, Doug Gafney, VP of Ops, responsible for technology and data analytics. And I'll get a chance to speak more later about our team, but really I wanted to talk more specifically about this solution here, following what John said. And some of you may have attended Engage last year. I had the opportunity to speak at one of the sessions, and I specifically talked about this topic. And we are a platinum partner, and we were working side by side with John and the team at WOW to develop this solution. And honestly, our relationship with the broader construction industry is a perfect match with respect to Smartsheet. And John's use case and requirements really are textbook of where Smartsheet brings value. And he talked about those handful and the unexpected value with respect to document management and things like that. But we've seen it time and again. So just to reiterate, where Smartsheet's really bringing value when we're talking to individual companies in this space, and exactly in the WOW scenario, you're delivering a solution. They evaluated multiple products, as I'm sure many companies do, but you're delivering a solution that's kind of lightweight and easy to use, and it's in the browser, web-based, so it's comfortable for maybe the non-technical users. So you're bringing in vendors, and you're bringing in contractors, and you're bringing in people who have a broad spectrum of knowledge and experience about technology, but you're putting them onto a website, and a website that's easy to understand and follow. And when you build out a solution, that everybody can interact with, you're empowering all that information to consolidate into one place. So that's really a powerful, message and communication, and something that I know WOW appreciates and certainly benefits from. But as John mentioned, that single source of truth, we see that time and again. You have to have that information at one place. You can't let some vendor or contractor going off the rails and managing and working through their own siloed process. So when we began this relationship, we made sure to identify all the right stakeholders, all of the information that was important and valuable for building the car washes. And and then again, as John mentioned, the ability to come back, we're using Control Center here, so the ability to go back into a blueprint and make some revisions because a local permit requirement is different from one city to another, so they can adapt for that. So the flexibility to grow that and give them the power to not have to start from scratch or anything like that. So we were really excited to engage. Let's go to the next slide. And it was kind of a basic solution, but there's something that I really wanted to touch on that Jason, he's on the call. He was the build engineer working with Bob and John. And, again, this is kind of a standard workflow when you're designing and scoping it out. But what was unique here about this solution for WOW is the blueprints. So it's not multi-tier, but it is a situation where there's multiple blueprints that were required at the project level based on different brands. Just keep it simple, different brands that they were building, and those brands are all part of the umbrella portfolio for WOW, that it's important for them to still have it consolidated. You didn't want to run multiple portfolio views. We still needed to have all of the information consolidated and brought together for all the same stakeholders. It was just something unique we hadn't experienced before. So when we built it out, there's different controls that go through based on what triggers which blueprint. And that's kind of unique and exciting that we hadn't done before. And when we get to the Q&A, Jason can absolutely talk a little bit more about how and what we did to build that out. So, but again, standard solution, but it's still, at its basic level, it's hitting those key things that John mentioned, which was really important for him. And we're gonna turn it over to Bob and talk a little bit more about the actual solution that we built.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Doug, John, Kelsey, Jason, and others. Again, my name is Bob Pohlman. I'm an operations director here at Sevan. Prior to my current role, I was supporting our McDonald's operations west of the Mississippi. And now currently I oversee our car wash and ground up developments across the US. So as my wife likes to tell people when she introduces me, I wash cars and flip burgers for a living, and extremely proud to do both. So I'm not one to talk through the details of the technology build, but as a a colleague of the team here and pseudo, client or user of the platform, I'll talk you through some of our successes and the how-tos of the platform and some real-world solutions and applicable items that we use to help develop the WOW program and continue to support and expand it as we all continue to grow. So as others have pointed out, there's multiple layers and levels to this platform and to our solution. It's well beyond my capabilities, but for my simple brain, I look at it as tiers of information in a triangle or a pyramid style format, meaning that at the base of the pyramid is our project specific data input and information. That is the core, that single sheet that we use at the project level and site level is the core input for information that then feeds up to the subsequent levels of project and site related dashboards, which you see on the screen here, and then subsequent reports and even executive level dashboards that our clients and internal and executive leaders are able to view. So what you see here on the screen is a project level dashboard. I cannot emphasize how critical this view is and this reporting tool to help the team as project managers, as well as helping the client as our owner visualize the project in a very simple format and begin to see constraints or items that may hinder us from being able to open on time or open successfully, as well as give them full visibility into the overall health of the individual project. Again, critical here because we use data in our favor. At the base project level, we're inputting specific dates for every milestone or activity that needs to take place. If the project manager and team is not going through and updating and as-builting our dates in a timely fashion, it will pop up on our dashboard here and show constrained tasks or tasks that are overdue. Again, this is, if nothing else, a good quality control and check for all levels of our organization to make sure that everyone on the team is working the same direction towards a successful project completion and turnover. And this provides yet another checks and balance to make sure nothing's being missed. A real value in this as well is onboarding new team members. Not everyone that joins our team and joins a client account is a Smartsheet expert day one, or potentially even a project and program manager expert day one. That's a part of our training and development. And having this checks and balances using the system allows us to also check up on our team members and ensure that their training and their execution of the project is being done successfully and that we're meeting our dates and meeting our milestones on behalf of our clients. What I like to tell folks here is thanks to Jason, who is an incredible engineer and an incredible person at helping develop these platforms. It's really customizable in the sense, if you like line graphs versus wheel charts, or you like bar charts, or you want some other type of visual format, if the data exists within the platform, Jason, Doug, and the Smartsheet team can make it happen. And without overstepping here, I think there's even deeper levels of customization there to really target specific users. Next slide, please.
And Bob, if you're okay with it, we actually had a question come in. Someone was wondering, as a project manager, do you find it better to keep the project level dashboard to just kind of the single dashboard, or break it up maybe into different layers? They had commented they do like this kind of quick visual, but wanted to get your feedback.
It's a great question, and thank you. Yeah, happy to take them. Just didn't want to try to read that and digest it on the fly. So in short, from a project standpoint, I like to keep all the data in one place at this level or in this view. We don't have an example of it because it's somewhat granular, but at the project level data input, we have broken our sites down into multiple phases, meaning when you look at our full life cycle of hundreds of line items from the day we identify a site all the way through the day we would turn it over to a client and to WOW and they would begin to operate, we break that into milestones and phases within the project. And so that allows us to help eat the elephant one bite at a time, or whatever the applicable analogy is there, because we're not worried about turning over a site until we can get through our design and get through all of our permits. And so we do break it down into smaller milestones within, but we found it too granular to produce that into smaller size project reports and rolled everything up into total project summaries. And then again, this folds into even higher level summary, which would be that executive level summary, which is an even faster snapshot at the health of a project. Kelsey, how was that? Did I hit the mark for him?
That was perfect. And I know in a couple of slides too, you all kind of have a looking ahead portion where we are going to talk about work apps a little bit. And I think that will kind of go along and help with that question too. So
fantastic. And that'll be Jason. And outside of spelling work apps, that's his bread and butter. So Kelsey, before you move on, I do have one other thing to point out here. I apologize, but again, with Jason and the team's institutional knowledge, and then working with our project management team internally, one big focus of our initiative here is usability and friendliness and the ability for our project managers and clients to actually use and navigate the program. Although it's extremely simple and easy to follow, again, with new team members, the more you can shepherd them along the way and help provide tools and add-ins to navigate the platform, the more they'll use it, the more the data will stay updated, the more efficient it will be. And so in the top right section of the screen here on this dashboard, you can see there's little, I call them widgets, or they end up being clickable links that then take us to the other various aspects or sheets and dashboards that tie into this project. So you'll see, for instance, in the top right is the schedule link. So from this dashboard page, we can quickly navigate to the schedule. And if I realize that a connect wet utilities date, for instance, shown here has already been completed, or we completed it early, I can quickly log in through that schedule button and do the update. And it's amazing how real time it is. As fast as you can get back to the dashboard page, it's already been updated. And so we found that as a very useful feature, so that we're limiting the number of clicks our team members have to go through to update and maintain the information. The last two little widgets there, or clickable links in the top right, would be the budget dashboard and the budget project sheet. And so again, Jason could speak to this more in detail as needed, but as a component of our schedules, we also have a budget component. And because we're doing everything data driven via percents complete and actual dates, which then allows Jason to tie it to cash flow, or allows us to tie it to real dates and cash flows. Those two are separated as different sheets, but talk to each other as best as I could say that, so that we're able to aggregate not only project dates and milestones, but financial related data that ties specifically to project dates and milestones. The ability to estimate and project cash flow across a project or a program as a whole is absolutely instrumental to any client to be able to effectively run their program. If you don't know how much you're going to spend, it's really hard to make sure you have enough money to cover the cost and see the projects to fruition. So Jason and the team did an amazing job at helping us build this tool out with WOW. We're able to tweak it again, as Kelsey mentioned, I think, with work apps and other features to make it unique to all potential clients. But I cannot say enough good things about our financial tracking component that goes along with this. All right, thanks for that plug, Kelsey. We can go on the next slide here. So what do we do with all this data, and how do we find value and use in it? And then how do we update and maintain it regularly? So for privacy reasons, obviously we've blurred out some specific site information in regards to locations and names, et cetera. But as you'll see here, this is just a handful of columns, because candidly, it's all we could fit in a screenshot of our total aggregation of data per site. There's probably 3 times as many columns that fit on the actual dashboard or report that the report that we have here to manage our program. But the purpose of this is every single line is a project or a site. Every single column is a milestone that we know has to be accomplished at the project level to continue advancing the project forward successfully. And so again, as a quality control aspect, every item here should either have a date or a projection in it. If it doesn't, then we know that we maybe either don't have the ability to project that yet, or it's a way to identify that someone needs to do a little better job at aggregating their data and inputting into the system. So using our internal team as moderators and as meeting organizers, we'll use a sheet like this and get on at minimum a weekly call with all project and program stakeholders and vendors. So that would be our team, internal, external architects, John and the WOW team, general contractors, third-party expediters, testing firms, whomever is at signage groups, anybody that's a part of our program that is responsible for dates and deliverables are going to attend this weekly call. Because time is money and we want to respect everyone's time, but also be efficient, using this type of system, we're able to very quickly go through every single project and columns and see what is either coming due or past due, and have that quick check-in with that vendor, a specific team, and make sure they're on track for it. Because we love color coding, if it's in green or not colored, it means it's on track or ahead of schedule. If it's purple, that's our nice way of saying you might be a bit behind. Red was maybe too harsh of a color, so we chose purple, but you're a bit behind and you need to have a special focus on this. And that ability to color code helps us all as human beings who may miss something, and from a date or miss something from a standpoint of just overlooking that it was past due. It puts it right in front of us. And again, just another quality control, because at the end of the day, our goal is to help efficiently deliver sites for our clients in a timely manner and provide them that central source of truth, as we've all talked about, and drive those projects forward. And again, this sheet here, it's so simple. And I know many of you would look at this and say, well, this is Excel perhaps, or I could recreate this. No way. All of this is fed from so many different points. I couldn't even, it makes my head explode to even think about. Jason and them have tied it all together, but the ability to have this real-time information at our fingertips and shared with our clients is invaluable. And just again, to point out, if I was to go in and update a specific date within a project sheet, as fast as you can get back to this report, it would be updated in the system. And if you're ahead or behind, it would immediately color code it. And so that real-time central source of information and central source of truth that's shown here on this sheet is a game changer when it comes to managing our programs. Next slide.
Bob, I'll take this back. Great
Perfect.
mentions there about the solution and how how you guys collaborated and built that. And I'm just going to touch on a couple other features here, because this one is this is kind of boilerplate stock imagery here, but it was specifically around the proofing function. John mentioned earlier some of the values and challenges and the unintended benefits of some of the functionalities and features of Smartsheet with document management and things like that. But a parallel to the document management piece comes into the ability to leverage proofing. And some of you may be familiar with what proofing is and what it does. But basically, it's kind of that line and row level workflow where you can have a conversation and a dialogue reviewing certain components within that record. So specifically how and what WOW is doing, they're leveraging the proofing function around the contract management and the change orders and other elements that you need a dialogue, you need a discussion, and you need to have maybe some document control and revisions around the documents. Do you accept these changes? And so just during the conversations that we've had between Bob, Jason, and John and myself, it's kind of that that aha moment where you realize, oh yeah, we can do this internal to the solution as well. And it keeps people out of their inbox managing work where not everybody has visibility to it. So this was actually a major bonus, if you will, to some of the features and functionalities that Smartsheet brought to the table. And also, I seem to recall another department, not just on the construction team, and we're specifically talking about construction here, but within the organization at WOW, Jason and I previously had conversations with the marketing team and how they can use this proofing functionality to review marketing content for the release, the grand openings of individual locations and review the flyers and brochures and things like that. So probably a lesser used and lesser known feature, but proofing is extremely valuable and in this client relationship. And then I'll go to the next slide to talk about what looking ahead. So it was mentioned a couple of times. I think Jason's most excited about the opportunity to kind of do a version 2.0 or a next gen solution for WOW. And it's taking advantage of portfolio work apps. I think that portfolio work apps are, really pretty fantastic when you look at all the different stakeholders and all the different methods of delivering content to those stakeholders. So this is something that we're looking at kind of, I don't want to say it's a redesign, but just version 2. But Jason, if you want to add a little bit more commentary around some of the conversations and things that you've been having with the team about how to take this solution that we built and move it forward, if you want.
Yeah, I can speak a few words to it. So, well, one of, like Doug mentioned, the portfolio work apps is my new favorite Smartsheet toy. And one of the biggest benefits that I see with this WOW solution is going to be just the organization and structure of the data, especially like John mentioned, as the program really starts to scale. What work apps allows you to do is you have a nice, simple launch page per role. So I won't get too far into the weeds of technicalities, but it's just a lot cleaner way to have people access and manipulate and share the data within the program versus using the core Smartsheet app. And portfolio work apps also scales with Control Center. So as programs are provisioned through Control Center, those individual projects are also going to have their own work apps created where all the users are going to be able to have that very simple, very intuitive layout of how to access just the specific data that's catered to them. They don't have to filter through anything that's not going to be, necessary for them to use. It's going to be catered to just specific roles so that they'll be able to access what they need, get in, get out, save that time so they can keep working on what's more important. So I guess that's my 2 cents on work apps.
Yeah, it's a great product to bring to the team. But next slide.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for running through some of that and some of the ways that WOW and the Sevan team is using Smartsheet. I know you all are definitely doing a ton together, and that only really touched the surface. But just to wrap things up, we did want to run through just a few questions that we have for John and even the Sevan team here. And then we'll get to some of the questions that have come in. But John, how has increased use of Smartsheet impacted your team and the organization? WOW, if you could share a little on that.
Yeah, so as WOW was growing, we brought on, the different team members in different departments. So we have a real estate department, we have a construction team, we have a financial team. And so how this tool allows us to do is we all work together as an organization, even though we're all looking at different data during the course of a project. And this allows us to pull the information, work closer as a team, and pull the information and make sure that the main things for us is that we hit our timelines. As we are a PE organization now, as you know, when PE deploys capital, they want to make sure that their capital goes to work as soon as we can. And so this tool has definitely allowed us to streamline our program internally and move much faster as an organization without the misses that we used to have.
That's awesome. I think that's in line too with a lot of the folks on the call today. During one of those earlier polls that we had launched, I know a lot of folks had mentioned that maybe a challenge they have now or prior to using Smartsheet was really internal kind of communications and collaboration, and also a lot of siloed data, not knowing where things were, not knowing who was working on what, and it slowed a lot of processes down. So
For sure.
Did your solution that you worked on with WOW, did you see that maybe increased revenue, reduced risk, and increased organizational alignment as you were kind of working through everything? If you could talk through that.
Sure. I mean, as I was saying, we, with the PE, when they deploy capital, they want to, they want the asset to be making money as soon as it possibly can. And so this tool, when we go to scale, it allows us to move very, very, very quickly, and our openings are being dialed in, and we're still working through processes, but it doesn't have to do anything with Smartsheet. It's more on the construction side on why there are delays. But it would be a lot worse if we didn't have this tool tracking those delays, why they happened, allow us to capture the information, go back as a team and say, this happened on the last one. Let's review this. How can we take that information and make it faster? So we are moving way faster as an organization. We're getting to our openings much faster, which increases revenue. The reducing the risk, where that comes in, as we're a learning organization, we're a newer organization. As we go into these municipalities and maybe different areas, what we do is if something happens and we see something, we capture that information. And so we are aware of that moving down the road. And we do a really good job of, okay, well, that happened. And so now we're going to capture that information. And then that cycles through the entire organization. We have it captured so we can try to minimize that risk again. And then all that information is easily looked at for the next site. And I think we've already talked about the increased organizational alignment is all the information, one source of truth. All of our teams use the tool seamlessly, but they're all in different areas. And that's the main, for us as an organization, it's the main reason why we really enjoy Smartsheets, is that it just, our team uses it all the way across the board at any phase of development.
That's awesome to hear. And I know too, you had mentioned some numbers at the beginning. It sounds like you all have been able to really double kind of the amount of new sites that you've been able to build and open. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
How long did it take to develop and adopt your solution? And this can include too working kind of with the Sevan team on that deployment.
So to be honest, I believe that we're never going to stop working on the solution, because I think it's a living, breathing document, and we get better all the time. And that's one of the reasons why we like it, is that it's never over. As we learn something, we capture the information, we put it in. They added the financial component, which is a massive help for our organization as we manage PE. That they love to see all that information, and Jason did a fantastic job of building the financial tool around that, which saved me because I have to answer to the board on the financial tool, and now all I got to do is go into Smartsheets and pull the information, and it helps me with my job dealing with the financial folks a lot easier. But I don't think if you're using the tool properly and you're growing it as an organization, I think it continues to live and breathe as a document, and it never really stops. It just keeps getting better and better.
Change is the only constant, right?
That's exactly right.
And just finally, any advice you'd give to folks on the call today?
Yeah, it's interesting. Is Bob and I deal with a lot of people all over the country, and they all have solutions, and a lot of times they well, we have this and all of our information is in there, and they want to use this tool. Well, then when they look at what we have built and what we have, they end up going, wow, that's amazing, and they ended up adapting it, or it integrates into other systems as well. I don't think we've talked about that very much, but it integrates into other systems. And so I would say that you take a hard look at Smartsheets. We are very lucky to have partnered with Sevan multi-site solutions that manages the tool and helps us with the tool, and to have that partnership with WOW and a platinum user is very invaluable to our organization. So find the right partner that can help this document help you throughout your whole organization.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I know too, we had a few questions come in, so we'll go through those. Did just want to give kind of a final thank you though for running through this. We really appreciate you taking the time. And before we pass it over to Sevan to share a little bit more about their offerings, someone had asked, and this kind of goes along too with maybe using other tools, but how many outside or third parties are involved in the input in your pipeline? And do they have access to some of the the data that we looked at today, like maybe some of those sheets or the dashboards?
So Bob, if you don't mind, because you kind of deal with that more than I do you want to kind of speak to this?
Yeah, I'll do my best, and then Jason and Doug can chime in with anything I say incorrectly. How about that? So, the short answer, to be frank, is it's an endless number of third-party users. With each project, it even varies in the sense of what third-party consultants or groups we need on it. But always architects, engineers, clients all have access to that. Jason and the team, again, maybe they'll speak to it a little bit more, but we're able to selectively share specific information and or permissions to view versus edit. We try on our side, however, although we allow folks to edit the sheets, and there's an amazing quick and easy way to track it. So there's never a question of who made the edit. It's very easy and clear to say, Bob made the edit at 11:47 on 6/21, and they could probably even tell me where I made the edit, geographically, but we won't dive that deep. However, for our standpoint, although we give that access, that's what the purpose of our weekly call is, because if we can help control some of that data input and management, we will, because it is that central source of truth. But you're exactly right. Allowing it to be opened up to third parties is another way that we streamline our efforts and can work collectively to make that happen. And Doug or Jason, anything on the sharing of permissions that I may have said incorrectly?
I'll just add that's one thing I'm excited about for the version 2.0, as I mentioned, work apps. So for those of you who might not be familiar with what exactly it does, one of the coolest things I think it does is that you can share a report to somebody through work apps without giving them access to the source sheet. So if anyone's familiar with how core Smartsheet works, you know that you can't do that. But with work apps, you're able to. So for all of those third-party vendors, what we can do then is we can, use a filter on our project schedule to say that these are all the rows that we want the architect and engineer and whoever else to see. We can build that report for that specific vendor, share them as a role through work apps. And now they have just those, 10 tasks maybe that are aligned with their trade, that they don't have to, sift through hundreds of lines in the schedule to find where they're at. They can just log into their work apps, open up their architect report, and make whatever updates they need. So that's at least looking in the future what my plan is.
Jason could probably answer the next question too.
Yes, someone had asked, with so many people accessing your sheets, do you find your connected user counts going up faster than expected? I think with the connected users, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's in line with work apps, not like non-licensed users on sheets.
Yeah, that one I'm actually not sure on. I don't usually track that.
I can respond here. I know that if it is in terms of non-licensed users on sheets, there is an unlimited amount to that. So you can share a sheet or like a report or even dashboard with an unlimited amount of users, and they don't need to require a license to see the information. With work apps, it is a little bit different. If you do have additional questions on kind of user counts with that in terms of licensed versus non-licensed, you can always connect with us at usergroups@smartsheet.com after, and we'll be happy to send you some collateral on that.
That is a good question. Something that we're aware of and monitoring, but not necessarily at our fingertips aware of.
Perfect. And kind of final question we had, more so on the adoption front. I know quite a few folks had responded to one of the polls that was sent in saying that they have executive support when it comes to Smartsheet, but are struggling when it comes to end users, getting them to lean in, getting them to use some of the assets that have been created. I don't know, John, or even the Sevan team, if you have any advice on that front, if maybe you're running monthly sessions or maybe what training looks like, just to help with those efforts.
John, you want me to take that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so one, yes, we're always here to support our clients and our colleagues and our team members for data input and access. A best bet that we've worked through internally with our teams and with WOW, we host what we call brunch and learns, and we'll record those. And so once a month, for instance, we'll do a brunch and learn on a specific topic. Jason has done multiple brunch and learns along with some of our other team members who help manage our assets within the Smartsheet space. They'll do 15-30-minute brunch and learns that we record that show you how to navigate to a page or kind of work through some of those best bets and features. Again, we record them all so that new team members, new clients, new colleagues can go back and view those. So we always have that support, not to mention Smartsheet, and Kelsey, you can speak this. There's an incredible database from what I've seen out there, how-to videos, both free and paid on how to better yourself and better your skill set within the platform. So we help navigate people to those aspects as well for additional collateral and input. But in short, the way we look at it is get on board or get out of our way. Whether you're internal to us or whether you're an external vendor, if you want to, one, get paid, and two, keep working with us on multiple projects going forward, you will learn to use our programs and our platforms and adopt to them, or quite frankly, we will find someone else who will adapt. And that kind of sounds like a hard approach, but we're not running a nonprofit. We're not running a daycare. We're here to deliver on sites and deliver for our clients. And so if other team members aren't able to get on board with that, then we look elsewhere. Right.
And let me answer that. That's a great statement, Bob. Let me answer from the partner side. Implementations in the kind of the sales cycle, touches on a lot of how Bob described it. But if we're meeting with potential users and customers of Smartsheet, the conversation is usually going down two different paths. The example of they're bought in, they know what they want, and they're already committed and have stakeholder and executive sponsorship. And then there's the others. And so where we may be engaging with a team or department within a larger organization. And generally what we've found that works well is we don't try and go in there with some massive scope of work that is possibly many weeks or months of implementation, and it's too complex to just deliver right off the bat. So what we sometimes generate value for the client is, let us come in and do a small engagement, very small, specific to that department, with the end of possibly building that solution so that it can adapt and grow into something like a control center, cross organization, cross, department implementation, so that we can quickly morph it in. Because what we've seen time and again is users beyond will start observing the solution, and the light bulbs, the aha moments will continue to happen, and like, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? And then they just have a much stronger idea of what's possible, and that's how we can then deliver a second scope of work and grow the solution beyond what they already were initially planning. So that's an area as a partner where we've benefited in the conversation. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. And I think that's a good segue as well into a little bit more about Sevan and kind of y'all's offerings and what you can do. Once again, big thank you to John and team for sharing a little bit about how you are using the platform.
Thanks, Kelsey. And like I said, you've already been hearing me speak quite a bit. And I know we're running low on time, but let me just quickly highlight Sevan. Again, I'm the Vice President of Ops responsible for technology and data analytics for Sevan multi-site solutions. If you go to the next slide, Sevan is not just a platinum partner for Smartsheet. Our core business is actually what you see here. We do everything from a program and project management space, from real estate development services, civil zoning permitting, surveying, A&E, and construction services. We are a firm that offers all of this from a program and project management space in the vertical construction industry. So integral to that is coming to the table with technology solutions, and that's where I'm part of it. So what we found is when we meet with clients like WOW and we come to the table with a technology solution to help them deliver all of these offerings so that they can do what is important to them, which is, get car washes, in the ground and running and delivering value to their customers. So we work as a platinum partner with Smartsheet, bringing the technology to all of these services for our clients. And we can also work directly with as a platinum partner delivering solutions only, where we can just do a direct technology engagement with Smartsheet, implementing and developing, but we bring that industry knowledge that is essential for construction vertical. So really that's kind of one of the areas where we've had great success. Next slide just kind of highlights where we've worked as a company. I would say the vast majority of all of these brands, we have worked and delivered something with respect to Smartsheet as a deliverable. Not all of them, but a large percentage. So I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Just again, a little bit more about Sevan. We call it U multiplied. We can be there helping run your projects and programs from the entire life cycle of concept and idea to delivery and solution. So, and we as a platinum partner can bring that solution with the technology to manage and control it. All right. And I think that the next slide has a little bit more information you can click to get. And any questions? Because I know went fast. You heard me speak plenty today.
Perfect. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, team. As Doug had mentioned, you can scan this QR code right now, and that will connect you directly with the Sevan team. I did also put the link for their partner page. It lives in the Smartsheet page, but if you want to connect with them, and has some contact information on there as well. All right, so I know we have about 2 minutes left. I did just want to quickly run through some additional programs and resources that everyone on the call has access to. First up is, I know we had covered some advanced functionality and kind of went into detail on some different features within the core Smartsheet platform. So if you are interested in learning more, we do run monthly webinars, and these hone in on specific areas of the platform. They are all recorded, so if you can't make these dates, and I know some have passed, again, they were recorded, so you can circle back and watch them later and even pass them on to colleagues, but they're wonderful. I definitely recommend checking them out. If you liked the session today and you want to keep the conversation going, maybe connect with other users in the Smartsheet community, we do recommend checking out our community page. This is a great place to go if you have questions, you want to connect with others, maybe in similar industries or roles, or maybe you want to find out more about events like our user groups or Engage. We always post in there. One additional feature about the community is you can now actually provide feedback to our product team and upvote certain requests. So if you want to learn more, we definitely recommend checking it out, and I will put the link in the chat right now as well. Now, I know we had some questions about adoption, change management, getting end users to lean in. If you haven't signed up for the Mobilizer program yet, I definitely recommend doing so. I just put the link in the chat. This is a great program to be a part of. It is free to join, and it gives you access to certain assets to help with these endeavors. For instance, decks for like lunch and learn, or maybe internal user group sessions that you're running. You also have access to Smartsheet swag. So if you want to further incentivize users, maybe to get them Smartsheet certified or attend certain trainings, this is a great way to do so. Another resource to be aware of is our early adopter program. Maybe you want early access to certain features before we roll it out to the general public. You can actually sign up to be a part of this program. We really do rely on our early adopters to give us initial feedback, help us maybe work out certain bugs or glitches before we roll out certain functionality to the general public. So I definitely recommend signing up today. The link is there at the bottom, and we will also include it in our follow-up email that will go out to everyone. Smartsheet University, again, if you want access to further training, e-learning opportunities, the Smartsheet University is a great place to go to. You can earn credentials in here, badges, and you can even get Smartsheet certified as well. And some exciting offers to share. And don't worry, this is being recorded. We will send it out, but we are running some promos right now. So if you are interested in getting Smartsheet certified or taking advantage of some of our regional and virtual training opportunities, we do have promo codes that are shown here on the screen. I definitely recommend taking advantage of this. It's a great opportunity. Again, we do have a promo code for some of those certification exams as well. As you can see here, we're offering 3 right now, and that promo code is good for all 3 for 1 attempt. So definitely check it out. All right. With that, we're a minute over, but thank you, John and Sevan team. You were wonderful. And thank you everyone who attended the session today. Your questions were great. Again, we were recording and we will email this out to everyone post session. But thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.